That a new government is in the play. A new government has taken up the country, Trinidad and Tobago, and they would like to have all hands on deck with them. No one, when they have a contract, how they have people working in certain, maybe certain enterprises, and they are doing what they want, thinking that, they're going to get away scot-free. That is not so. We are seeing the Minister of Public Utilities, right? We are seeing the Minister in the Ministry, the PM office. We are seeing all those ministers, they are taking a frontline role. They are taking a frontline seat, if you want to call it that, and they are moving from nook and corners of Trinidad and Tobago, trying to identify the problems and the challenges that those communities are plagued with, and they are rectifying. Because I have seen Miss Jolene John, minister there. She is doing a lot of work. I'm seeing Khadija Amin, minister there again, doing a lot of work. I'm seeing Minister Ravi Ratiram doing a lot of work. I'm seeing all those ministers coming forward, and we have not seen that in the past, where ministers would have been on the ground. They have been on the ground communicating, liaising, identifying, and trying to rectify these types of problems that has plagued the country for too long, right?
Is calling on members of the Muslim community to ignore the detractors and show their support towards the UNC. If elected, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa said the government will be about good governance.
Okay, my friends, a pleasant, good Saturday afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. And those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program, Hardfacts. That is aired Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, feel free to call us. 372-2129 is the number. And, just to let you all know, we were off the air for a bit. And our crew have been really and truly rejuvenated, and we are back on the airwaves live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Fire Stick. So those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me at 372-2129. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim, and this is your program, Hard Facts, where we deal with issues that is most relevant. Things that is affecting us locally, things that is affecting us internationally, and things that really and truly we can really and truly make some sort of dent. We can make some sort of corrective measures when it comes to lobbying the government of the day, which is the United National Congress government. And to speak about that, those of you who are locked on again, you have that opportunity to call, congratulate, and maybe you can tell us in your mind what is really and truly your opinion in the performance of the government of the day, the United National Congress. When it comes to the PNM, we know for a fact that they did a lousy job. We know that for a fact because 10 years, and many of you, those of you who have been lobbying, you realize that we reached nowhere very fast. At this point in time, we are breaking point in our country. We are breaking point in our country, hence the reason why there's a lot of house cleaning taking place by this present government when it comes to CPEP, when it comes to URP, when it comes to those programs that would have been designed to enhance and to really and truly facilitate those persons who are unemployed in our country. But we have seen and we are getting information from the line ministers when it comes to those persons who were really and truly, they were on a free flight. They were collecting monies without even working, without even checking in, and a lot of things like that happened. And we are seeing, there's a sort of a retaliative move now by some of those persons that I have mentioned. They are contemplating taking the government of the day to court. Now, tell us something. If those of you who are watching this program, and you all would remember this, that many of you had contracts. Many of you had contracts during the period of 2010, 2015. That would have been under the United National Congress government, right? I want you all to reflect and cast your minds through that period of time, 2010, 2015. And you would realize that when the PNM came into office, they did the very same thing. Because basically you would understand programs like URP, CPEP, and the works of it, you would realize that, my friends, that those programs were designed to really and truly alleviate and assist the downtrodden in our society, people who are not working and people who can really and truly, give a couple hours for the day so that they can collect a stipend and that could be able to manage the family budget and so forth. But what we saw a lot of advantages that was really and truly identifying at this present time because people were really and truly not working, they were not performing. And who like it, I mean, those of you who were benefiting, you are surely going to like it and you're going to lobby it because you want that to continue. But the realistic aspect of it today, my friends, we could discuss that. You can call me at 372-2129. That's the number that you can reach me. And call me and let me know whether you feel that they should, reinstate those programs or continue, identifying some of the anomalies and the challenges that has taken place and how we can correct that. So those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me. The number is 372-2129. Come back, Director. 372-2129. You can call me and let us have some dialogue because I tell you something, a lot of things is happening in our country. When we look at the regional aspect of it, we are looking at the international aspect of it. We are seeing, warships from America is in the Caribbean Sea, and they are gathering, they are mustering support, and it is as though something is going to happen in this region of the country. Because when we look at what has transpired in the eastern end of the El Mundo of the world, my friends, you're going to realize that war have been taking place in the Middle East for the longest while. And South America, North America was really and truly not so much touched by any of those discussions. But what we are seeing now, we are seeing in South America, especially in places like Venezuela, places like Guyana, and we, Trinidad and Tobago, is sandwiched between those places. You know something? Chances are, if a war do break out, right? Whether it be with America, whether it be with Guyana, Venezuela, whether it be with whatever country, we are going to get the ripple effect of that, whether it be negative, because it's not going to be any positive. It's not going to be any positive, because I tell you something, let me just give you an example. A lot of scrupulous and unscrupulous people there are in our country. Like one person came to me a short while ago, and he said, Imam, I went to purchase a bag of potatoes. And that person, he has a business, and he went to buy his potatoes, his chickens. That is for the chicken and roti business, the roti shop that he has. And he told me that the price of potato went up. And when he asked the question, why that potato went up so much, you know what the person said? That the boat has to go right around. The boat has to make a longer run to deliver goods in our country. How true that is? Is there any truth in that? And there are so many things, my friends, that we can discuss. We are looking at, when we look at, crime and the criminal elements in our society, and that is where I'm going to embark, that is where I'm going to begin our program here today. We're going to talk about, something, let me tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago, we have to be very, very careful, because I would say that in percentage-wise, 75% of people who are transacting business with legitimate business company, they come to you with an intention of conning you, of taking your goods under false pretext and not going to pay you. Like, for example, again, something, I was off the air for about 3 weeks. This is the third week that we were really and truly off the air, and I was receiving calls. People were telling me, Imam, what's going on with you, boy? We were always watching your show. Sometimes we don't watch your show on time, but we watch your show. We watch your show when we come home. And, we debate and we have discussions. Sometimes when we're in the bar, when we're here, we pull out our phone and we discuss, this is what we have seen today. This is what is happening in our country. So Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of things has happened in this duration. The government is approximately 6 months old, 5 to 6 months old. And I'm seeing a lot of things happening. And my director, who is here, we said this to you, Trinidad and Tobago. You are going, when the PNM was in office, right? And when we could calculate, we could have calculated in our hands how many protest action took place against the PNM. I want you all, those of you, whether it be positive, whether it's for or against, whether people who are PNMites, people who are UNC, people who have different party, and you want to call us, feel free. But just try to, you want to lambaste, you want to quarrel, you want to get vexed, but just try to maintain that equilibrium and balance when it comes to your wording. No obscene language, please. And try to refrain from calling people names, because I tell you something, when you as an individual call any station and you try, this is not a mama guy station. This is not a station where you can call and use obscene language. Because I tell you something, we are going to report you and we are going to ensure that this is a family channel. A lot of people are watching. Come back, director. Right? So we have a lot of people, young children watch our program. Sometimes families are watching. Sometimes you have one screen, right? You have one screen watching, and it might show as though one view or one person viewing. But just imagine you are sitting with a family of 12 or 15 people sitting down and you are watching the show and you are contemplating what is going on, and a person calls the station and uses obscene language. Hear what? My opinion might be the most righteous one. I might be the most righteous person, right? But when it comes to you contributing, let your voices be heard. Yes, you can talk about what you want to criticize the government. Feel free. We don't have a problem, because that has been happening in the past and it's going to happen continuously until maybe the day of reckoning. But the point I'm making is, let us be people of substance. Making a contribution is one. But again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, this station, Sentinel Media Broadcasting, is here to stay. We are trying to do some upliftment in the station itself. We are trying to motivate others to come on board. My co-host is not here today, and that was because of a reason. And again, my friends, we are inviting guests. We want to enhance the program. We want to enhance the station. And we want people to really and truly, those of you who are locked on, we have a fairly good amount of followers. 45,000 followers is a fairly good amount. Director, isn't that so? Maybe you could pull it up, 38.1 thousand followers. Right? And I tell you something, we were off the air, as I said before. We didn't really have anything going on. Come back to me. We didn't have anything coming, going on live, so that we can really and truly maintain the followership. But again, those of you who are locked on and maybe you have a program that you have started. Maybe you have some farming project. Maybe you have some sort of, again, Trinidad and Tobago, I want people to call me today. You don't find, right, everybody thinking that things getting hard, and the business community, we're not getting any workers, we're not having workers. People like they don't want to work anymore. Because I tell you something, I know people right now have vacancies. Vacancies, vacancies, vacancies for drivers, loaders, builders, fabricators, welders. And they are putting ad and nobody is responding to those ads. And they're telling me something is not right. Something is not right. People complaining about the high prices of food. And one person told me about devaluation, right? They are calling on the government of the day to devalue money, right? That is so ridiculous at this point in time. Let me just summarize something for you when it comes to devaluing monies. You devalue your money maybe to $9. Right now it's $7.50, $8. Black market, $8.25. The director, ensure that the phone lines are open, please. So that those of you who like to call us, 372-2129, make your contribution and let your voices be heard. This is your platform. Mount the platform of Sentinel Media Broadcasting and let your voices be heard. Whether you want to talk about road, whether you want to talk about drainage, let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something. A person called me, right? And I told him, I said, call the station. Call the number and let us, and you know something, after the program Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of these people will call and say, you know, Imam, nice show and this, that, the next. I don't really want no medal on my chest. What I want is that you all call me and let me know what is going on. One person called me and said that they went to Election and Boundaries Commission, right? And that's the ID card office. The ID card office. I don't want to call the location, right? The ID card office, they went there to get their son, who is a person who is around the age of receiving their ID card. And you know, when they went there, is a lineup. Is a lineup, right? And the thing about it is that you have two people working, and the rest of them going for lunch. What kind of management skills is taking place? I would have believed this, right? That a lunchtime could vary from maybe 11:30 to 1:30. And you know, it could vary in that period of time. And the flow of service to the country, Trinidad and Tobago, and the citizens of our country could continue in that trend. You know, you go and everybody go for lunch one time. No. That shouldn't be. That should not be. And the persons who is in charge of managing those offices, especially government offices, especially licensing office. You know what pains me? Let me tell you what pain means in Trinidad and Tobago. And we are so backward. I don't want to use the other word I was going to use. But we are so backward that I remember going to the San Fernando licensing office, right? And when we reached there, just about maybe 12:02, 12:01, she was concluding, and I was there, the person behind that person. Now, they could have told me, well, here what? You know what? We're closing. Right? But what I'm saying, there's nobody behind me. Listen carefully. Trinidad and Tobago. And I would have classified that as blatant discrimination and no patriotism. Right? There was nobody behind me. Nobody behind me. Right? And it's not that I'm going for a long story. I'm going to get this done and that done. All I was going to do is just to pay. Just to pay for a certified copy. And you know what? The cashier put the close sign in front there. And lo and behold, she went about her business. So I said, excuse me, ma'am, you can't just take this one. You can't just take this one. You know how people just beg each other? And you know something? She blatantly just walk away. That is the type of people that we have to deal with. How many times, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, you have been bombarded with those types of challenges. And because of your serene behavior, you know, you calm yourself. You know, I end up waiting there. I end up waiting there for that hour and something, when I could have done something better with my time. And you know the hard part about it? When I going back to pay, there's about 5 or 6 people in front of me waiting. They know the system. The people already know the system. They knew it. So they went in front there and lined up. Nobody. The woman saw me there. And she didn't say, well, look, you see, gentlemen, the one at the back there, please come forward because you were there, the last person. Not even a courtesy like that. How many times are we going to rejuvenate our system? How many times we're going to really and truly develop our character so that we can be able to fulfill our obligations when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago? And that is what we are challenged with. You notice I'm not talking nothing about government. I'm talking about civilians. I'm talking about the citizens of our country. I'm going to talk about something that is very, very important before I take my first break. Just imagine this. And I want the licensing office, those licensing officers, right, to understand certain criterions. There are vehicles, there are lighting, there are lighting hours where 6 a.m., I'm just giving you an example, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you're not supposed to have your lights on. You know that, right? But they fail to realize that there are vehicles that is coming in our country now that whenever the place look foggy and dark, the sensors will pick it up and they will light the lights and their lights will come on, right? So you tell me how obsolete that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. thing really and truly is. It functioning? It is applicable at this point in time. That is something that licensed officers have to really and truly develop in their minds. Listen carefully. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, right? Trinidad and Tobago, I want to talk about that issue. And this happened to one of my friends, and he came to me and he spoke to me during the course of the week. And you know those buses, those Nissan school buses, they are licensed for 8 people. They are licensed for 8 people. I don't know what is the reason for licensing for 8 people when they could take at least 11 persons. Quietly, in other words. 11 persons quietly. And normally, Trinidad and Tobago, I want this to really and truly echo in the minds of all parents outside there. My partner, my friend, right, you know what he did? He put a seat in the back that would accommodate 3 persons more. And that would not have been to get more money for the bus. That is not to really and truly get more money. He understands carefully what is happening in our country when it comes to the economy of the country. And he was charging $450 for the week to take that long run. Excuse. Right, he was taking that for the $450, I think it was the fortnight, right? And for adjacent school. And lo and behold, he put that seat there. You know what he did that for? So that he could accommodate 3 persons more. And the value of it, he would have dropped it so that all the children would benefit from the discounted price of accommodating those 3 people. You look at the mathematics and the common sense in that. But yet still, he went to San Fernando recently to purchase something. And the license officers, they saw the bus. The bus is well kept. Everything functioning because I know the body. I know the person. Bus functioning, everything clean, nice tires, everything functioning. Because I think he does treat the vehicle better than me. And the license officer, they know what is taking place. They know that is a school van. Right? And you know something? They bust $1,000 ticket on that fella. Now I know in the law, in the legislation, it might be something of what? Of breach of law. But the point I'm making here is that license office and those persons who are making those type of laws, right? Can they not think about when a vehicle like that comes, why it is that a person turning that vehicle P? Why? Why it is that that vehicle normally comes down as a T, a light T vehicle, but people normally go across there and they license their vehicles to transport to accommodate because the government of the day, whether it's UNC or whether it's PNM government, right? They have not really and truly set up properly whereby buses could run in areas like, let me just look at Felicity, Monroe Road, Konopia and all those things. The road system cannot accommodate bus. That's number 1, right? And number 2, those of you who are living in areas like Petersfield, Felicity, Shogunas, Caroni Savannah Road and all those areas, have you ever seen a bus running in those areas? When the Honorable Jack Warner, and I see I'm using the word honorable, I have a certain amount of respect. Right. So the Honorable Jack Warner was minister in the Ministry of Transport, licensing office and so forth. He set up bus shed and this was his constituency and a bus run here maybe about a week. And when they realize now that nobody traveling in the bus because in our area here, in areas like this, people feel shame, not feel shame alone, but they are scared to send their daughters and their little children to using a bus to whether it be Shogunas, whether it be in different areas because of security reasons. And that service was cut off, right? But the point I am making today that the government of the day cannot really and truly accommodate all the different areas. Why? Because of the infrastructure of the road when it comes to traveling with bus and assigning bus to those areas. So those P vehicles, right? Those P vehicles really and truly take up the extra workload for the PTSC buses. And I think that, you know, something should be calculated, and something, my friends, could be in the pipeline to, instead of licensing those buses for 8 persons, it could be licensed for 11 persons that can assist and accommodate, and that additional 3 persons. And in some cases, or in many cases, the price of taking the children to school with the additional 3 passengers could be reduced a bit, right? And that was what the guy was doing. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, call me at 372-2129. We're just talking right now. We're breaking the ice. But really and truly, we want to go into, when I come back, we're going to go into some crime and criminality and what has transpired in our country from last week, Monday, till today. So those of you who are locked on, feel free. There are people who are missing. There are people who have been kidnapped. And up to this day, 1 week gone, Mr. Imraz Ali from Charleville, he has not been found. We saw the pilot, Mr. Kewal, who was kidnapped. His vehicle was burnt and so forth. He was recovered. I think the ransom was paid. Ransom, I can't realize whether ransom was called for Imraz Ali or not, and what is the situation. I think that the police is investigating that. I saw on a TV show, a TV host was saying that there are lots and lots of information that he have gathered. And again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, I want to say a special hats off to Mr. Ian Allen and his program, because really and truly he's doing a tremendous work. A tremendous work has been done by him. It seems as though people gravitate to him and they trust him and they give information. Hence the reason why, you know, you would find that he is doing a really and truly good job. So again, hats off to Ian Allen. My friends, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, feel free to call me at 372-2129, where we're going to discuss crime and criminality. Thank you.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, ply boards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, because we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakani Road, Felicity, Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, welcome back to our program Hardfacts, that is aired Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. And again, my friends, those of you who are looking on, you are looking on at the flicker tape, the tape that is running. We on Sentinel Media Broadcasting, really and truly would like to express our sincere and deepest condolences to the brother Inshan Ishmael, who passed and gone approximately 2 weeks now. And again, my friends, when we examine carefully the amount of effort and sacrifice that he have made, really and truly, no amount of words can express our gratitude for whatever he has done when it comes to assisting the Islamic community and also assisting humanity at large. Right? So again, hats off, and to the family of Inshan Ishmael, may God Almighty grant you all the patience that you will bear the loss of a tremendous individual like himself. I saw there's a lawyer, I think was Mr. Jagesa. He has put out a press release stating that the Baraka Foundation, one of the wish of Brother Inshan Ishmael would have been to see that foundation continue. And what has happened, he has wished that the chairman of that board, the board which will comprise about 15 individuals. His son be the chairman, and the person who is in charge of the properties and so forth would have been, I think, would have been his brother, right? Again, I see nothing wrong with that, because again, when he were establishing that, that property, that hospital, and that environment, the masjid and so forth, he was not getting the type of support that he was supposed to be getting. And if he wished that, whatever his effort and sacrifice that he made go on via his lineage, I can't understand why people are saying that, it shouldn't be like that. Why? Tell me why. When the man was alive, right, when he was living, right, I know for a fact, because I didn't see, or he didn't see eye to eye with me, right, because of maybe differences of opinion and so forth. But I never really become angry with it. I just let the flow take its natural course. But the point here is, today, you are seeing people saying that Baraka ground was given to the Muslim community, and the Muslim community should be the one governing. Why you all didn't say that before? Why you all didn't say that before, when Inshan Ishmael couldn't sleep, when Inshan Ishmael, he was, in pain and agony? Why you all didn't say those things before? Why you wait now till the brother passed on and say, well, you know what, we want to come in and manage, and we want to do this? Man, you have to go up the ladder. You have to start from the white line, go up. You can't just go from the top, come down, and you want to have elections, and you want to be part of the board and so forth. I put a post and I said this: if you want to serve, come and serve. Assist the family, assist the board, assist the members who are the governing body, or the group that is really and truly trying to establish the hospital. Work with them. What you want to do? You want to just come and sit down in a corporate chair? You want to sit down in one of those big desks and say that you're running the show? No. Walk up, crawl before you walk, and walk before you run, and run before you fly. Don't want to fly just so. Leave the people business alone. He was doing a good job. Let him do his thing. Let him continue doing it. And if you want to serve, start from the bottom up, not from the top down. And that is what I've seen. And I will support the family. I will support the family when it comes to that, right? Ensure that, justice is being served. They did a good job, and they continue doing a good job. Let them do it. And if they need assistance, they'll come out to the general public. And people who want to talk and they want to help, go ahead and help. The hospital will continue, because that was the man's last dying wish, right? So again, my friends, I didn't really want to go there. But I read in the director put up something there pertaining to that, and I really and truly had no choice but to read it. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, those of you who are on TikTok, Taurus Queen, and those persons who are there, I want to say a special hello to you guys, and share this video and let people know that, here what, you can call 372-2129 and let us have some discussion when it comes to crime. And I want to show you all today how dotish people are in this country. Right? How dotish people are in this country. Whether you warn them or you warn them not. Whether you tell them to stop, they will still continue. Director, pull up those videos. I want you all to watch those things and tell me if that could have not been avoided. Mother, infant, daughter robbed in El Socorro, home invasion. Now that is something that is, nobody knows when somebody coming to invade your home. They don't call you and tell you, here what, I come in by your house tomorrow and invade you. They don't do that. So what we have to do today, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are calling on Homeland Security, Minister of Homeland Security. A lot of people saying that, they're condemning the man and saying this, that, the next. We are not doing that. All we are saying to you, Minister and in Homeland Security, Minister, Commissioner of Police, and those persons, you prepare a guideline. Come back to me, Director. We're staying too long. Right. You know something? Prepare a guideline stating, something, how to protect yourself from home invasion. That is an important thing. You start to educate the people. That is an important thing. You know something? We could stop crime in this country, We ain't reached that level where we can't stop crime. We could stop crime. But you know something? When I look and I read, I say, wait, now these people and them, they're so backward. They're so backward. We're talking about crime in school. We're talking about bullying. We're talking about crime in your community and all those things. And you know something? These people, they feel that, they alone could stop crime. You know how crime could be stopped in any country? When you start bringing in the clergies, the men of the cloth, the religious network, bringing those religious network, right? That is a time the religious networking, whether it be a temple, whether it be a mosque, whether it be churches, people go there, right? People go there. And if you establish yourself, network with these people, with the imams, the priests, the pundits, you network with them. And you prepare maybe a 5 minutes. You know how you would have an OSHA bulletin? When you go in a function, they will tell you, well, look, the washroom there, and this there, and that there, and the next, and the muster point is there, and people will adhere to it? Yes. This is what I'm talking about. And this advice that I'm giving, you don't have to pay me for it. I don't want to pay. I don't want to medal for it. What you could do, Mr. Commissioner of Police, right? Mr. Homeland Minister of Ministry of Homeland Security, Madam Prime Minister of our country, and those who are involved in safeguarding our nation, what we need to do is inculcate and include our religious people in that. You don't have to get everyone. You don't have to get everyone. We have bodies. We have people like Ashja. We have people like Umati and we have people like the Mahasabha. We have people like the Roman Catholic Board. And we have people like that. You get one person each. You're supposed to have an organization called the IRO. I'm not hearing anything about them, the IRO. But forget that. The IRO is a separate entity, like for religious thing. We're talking about setting up an organization that will help when it comes to crime prevention in our country. Crime prevention in our country is a very, very important factor to discuss. And this is why we have to come together. And when we come together, my friends, you know something, we could be able to start up our program in the morning, like, you know, when you go to school. Now, people will go to church maybe one time for the week, 2 times, temple 1 time, 2 times. In the mosque, the major congregational thing would be on Jummah Day or Friday. So maybe 2 minutes, you have a bulletin and you explain to the John public outside there. You know who wouldn't come, who would not come? Is the criminal elements who really go to mosques and temple and churches and so forth. They will remain home. So let the police deal with them. But you know, prevention is better than cure. Those young minds, those people who want changes, first you will find them going to the mosque, church, temple, religious organizations and so forth. Let these people deal with it in a subtle, reserved manner via networking with the public. With whom? With the police service and with Homeland Security. That's an important thing. And that is something that has been excluded for the longest while. Hence the reason crime has been growing and growing and growing. Because you know what? People are not, they feel that, you know, is when you have a degree in criminology, when you have a degree and you went and study in a university and you could collect your 100,000 and 200,000 to advise people. We, the preachers, the imams and the pundit, we could advise free for you all. We could do it for free because we have scriptures that tell you about how to prevent crime in our country. Our scriptures tell us that. It dictates how we should live, how we should develop ourselves, how we should build our communities. That is what Trinidad and Tobago needs. So when we talk about home invasion, a mother and daughter and their homes was invaded, people selling information, that don't happen by guess. I'm abandoned, don't walk in just so. There's somebody outside, whether it be a tenant who rented an apartment building close by, or maybe some business or a transact. Like for example, let me just tell you something. Just a couple days ago, one man went and withdrew $80,000. How much money? $80,000. No, sorry, $100,000. The $80,000, I'll talk about that after. $100,000 he withdrew. And you know something, when this is Shastri Chandrika, a special hello to you all, and a lot of those persons who are really and truly on our live show there. I just want to say thank you all. Share this video and let people know that there is a voice that is waiting for you all, that you can express yourself. If you have time, feel free to call me at 372-2129. That is for those persons who are on TikTok, those persons who are on Facebook. We are live on YouTube and Firestick. Right? I want to say a special thank you to Atlantic Computers. That is Mr. Archie. Thank you very much, sir, for visiting with me this week and really and truly, you know, giving me that upliftment, right? And giving me that boost, right? Again, because I tell you something, a lot of people were calling and asking the question why we were not on the airwaves. We had some problem with the system. We had some problem with the internet. We rectify that thus far. The director, we functioning okay, right? Right. So again, my friends, again, hats off to the director there. Those of you who are locked on, right, you have an opportunity now to raise the volume. And you can call me, you can tell me, you can say things. Use discretion when you're talking, because a lot of people, children watching our show and so forth. But home invasion, right? Home invasion is an important thing. Now we have seen, for this year alone, we have seen 4 or 5 kidnapping taking place, right? 4 or 5 kidnapping taking place for big monies, right? Now that is something the police has to deal with that. But we as citizens of our country, we can be able to protect and lock down our communities. And that could only be done if the police in the different division would communicate and you know, invite people like myself and invite, you know, people who are activists in the communities and who could be able to, because, you know, inviting the councillors and inviting them, that is the long time we are going about doing things. What you need to do, the police need to, I remember when Mr. Stephen Ramsubag, he was just, you know what, he was in Shogunas police station, he was just an inspector, a sergeant inspector at that time. I know him from that time. And they were doing the community patrols, and they were doing the community policing, and they would visit in different areas, right? They would take the police jeep, and they would go around looking for people of interest, in the sense that who can motivate and help in the policing and so forth. That is not happening anymore. Everybody staying in the office, and everybody looking to get, you know, medals, and everybody looking to get praises and whatever. Days for that done. Let me tell you something. Brother Inshan Ishmael, right? He was a man that not everybody like him, and not everybody hate him, right? Not everybody like him, and not everybody hate him. But he was a one-man team, in the sense that he worked hard, and he developed, and he make himself, and he did what he was supposed to do. His vision was manifested in the institution, in the building of a hospital. There are big Islamic organizations in our country, and they never dream about it. They never say, well, let me set it up and do something to uplift the Islamic community. Inshan Ishmael did it. Hats off to the man. Right? Hats off to the man, and may God Almighty grant him Jannatul Firdaus. That's it. But again, those of you who are locked on, we can do things on our own behalf. We can do things now to uplift our country. Right? You notice I ain't saying nothing about the government yet, Director? You notice I didn't say anything about the government. I commented the government. I'm saving that for the last. So those of you who are here, tell your people outside there, the cricket, what time the cricket starting, Fazil? Right now, people charging up. They're charging up. You're going to all them bars, all them places. Big screen putting up. You know, whether it's curry chicken or chicken curry. That's the kind of debate they want to debate. While they're doing that, right, our country sinking, people calling for devaluation of the dollar. People asking for that. You know who going to benefit from that? The citizens would not benefit from devaluing any money. You know who will benefit? The people who are investing, who come in to invest, who want to invest. And what are they going to invest in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time? The United National Congress government, you all have a very hard task ahead of you. Because I'll tell you something, when it comes to food preservation, really and truly, not much was done. And Mr. Ravi Ratiram, this is a clarion call to you. Mr. Ravi Ratiram, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, you have a lot of work cut out for you. And you have to use initiative. You have to use, you know, combined skills. You have to use data. You have to use a lot of different things. Communication skills is very important to see how we could develop, you know, food preservation in our country. I remember seeing this last week. The President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, and congratulations to him. You know something, if you look at Dr. Irfan Ali, you look at his page, you're going to realize that when was 8-something, about 8:45, I congratulated Dr. Irfan Ali on a victory. Those of you who are watching, go and watch it. Go and watch it. And I didn't do that by guess. I did that because of communication, talking to people in the grounds, talking to people. Trinidadian, a lot of Trinidadian went there for the election. And when I called those people and asked them what was the pulse on the ground, I knew 9:30 when Kamla Prasad Bisesa, in the morning 9:30, I knew Kamla Prasad Bisesa going to win the election. I knew that 9:30. Now all the other times, you know, we were not really and truly successful in finding out, but when that morning reached and, you know, I started driving around, in the areas that was opposing the United National Congress. When I started driving around in those areas and I saw the turnout, when I saw the turnout and how people were there, I realized, well, here what, 9:30, I could go home, vote, and go home, and know for a fact that the United National Congress will gain victory. The very same thing I said about Dr. Irfan Ali. So he said in his statement, he said that the only CARICOM country that has provided food sustainability for his people is Guyana. Right? And Guyana was at one point in time, was one of the stepbrothers in the sense that things were really hard there. When you go in a grocery, I remember in 1986, 87, I went in Guyana. And I went in, there were no big supermarket like now, right? That's the reason why today you have to understand the stone that the builder reject become the cornerstone. Always remember that. That is a biblical term. The stone that the builder reject becomes the cornerstone. When we were there in Guyana at that point in time, if you go in a supermarket and you get 2 packs of milk, you're lucky. And today you're getting the best product in those supermarkets. The price mightn't be as competitive as you want it to be. But again, my friends, that is happening in Guyana. And Guyana has really and truly boosted itself, developed itself, and it has become, you know, an oil-rich nation. When Trinidad and Tobago today, I want to talk about something, you know, and I'm trying to move away from that, but I feel I got to talk about it. Because Monday gone, I went Ikakas. Monday gone, people, I'll tell you something, boats were moving in and out, and I got information that, you know, people who were in Ikakas said certain things, and Cedras fishermen, Venezuela, U.S. tension forcing us into pirates, in the pirates parts. Now, this is what is happening. The fishermen in Cedras, they called and said that they have reached this point now that they're scared, they're frightened out of their wits to even go outside there and catch fish. So if you go in the market today and a pound of carrot is $40, right, and 5 pounds of shrimp is maybe $400, $500 or $80, $70 a pound for shrimp, my friends, you gotta pay it, because what is happening here is that the fishermen is not feeling, you know, they're not feeling safe. And what could have been done? What could have been done is the Coast Guard could have been in the borderline, right, protecting and guarding and watching, and maybe the Fishermen Association, right, they could have gotten their people outside there and let the Coast Guard know, well, here what, you know, 27 boat is fishing outside there now, and they would be in the alert, right? They would know exactly if other boats is coming in from where, and they would be able to really and truly protect and serve as the watchword for the police and Coast Guard and everybody is. So again, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me, 372-2129. And you know what has pained me? Here what has pained me, eh? Those of you on TikTok, thank you all. Share this video. And if you want, you could make a phone call and call us so that we could really and truly lift the program and uplift the program in such a way that we could talk about issues that is affecting us. I've spoken about 10, 15 different things for the past 15 to 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes gone, right? So, Director, let me just get some of those crime topics that we were supposed to talk about before I utilize all the time. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officer was shot while treating gun as a plaything, right? Again, that headline, it didn't really suit what was trying to be described there. Woman shot dead at roti shop. I tell you something, that's another thing. URP fight back, PNM set to sue government over firing of 400 workers. Let me tell you something, you could sue how much all you want, because when you all came into power in 2015 and you shut down CPEP, right? All the CPEP contractors, they took lawyers. And you know what? It never manifests, it never reached nowhere, and people didn't collect their money. The monies that the government owe them. I tell you this, and I have information, valid information. If you all want, I can share it with you all. So all our court case standing, what you're talking about there, the government of the day has the prerogative, because if they can't pay the salary, why are you all going to work? And if you're going to work and you're not doing the work, and they find out that you were not doing the work, what they should do is just fire you. And that is what the government did. So don't blame the government. You understand? I saw this, and I'll tell you something. The Honorable Kamla Prasad Bissessa, right? She have to be very, very careful of the companies that she are keeping. And she, really and truly invited in the house. Because, the manifestation and the motto is that if UNC win, everybody win. I am not seeing that, I'm telling you the truth. Let me be real here. I'm not seeing that. And I'm not singing for any supper. Whether we get something or we get something, that's all a business. But the point I am making here is that, something, a lot of people is being discarded. A lot of people is being thrown away by the wayside. And that is happening because, you know what? You all totem feelings still. Right? And you are incorporating and you are holding people close to you. Director, pull up those two things. I saw something. 5 protests took place. 5 protests took place thus far. And we have footage of all. But you know something? We saw this, and this is the trade unions. They did this. You remember when they were dragging mannequins? They were dragging mannequins, right? Depicting the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. You all remember that? And the United National Congress, and when they were putting on, look at this, right? And these are the very sad people today. They turn, we're not going to blemish the character. They say, okay, what the PNM have done, is nothing for us, and we think that the United National Congress could do something, and they changed and they switched and they came across. Look at what is taking place here. Lashes for Barry, the Honorable Barry Padara, the minister in the Ministry of the Prime Minister's office, right? And I think he's the Minister of Public Utilities also, right? I can't recall clearly which one is which, right? But what I'm saying is that protests again, and something, they always depict. If you look at the mannequin itself, the mannequin trying to demonstrate something, and we have to be very mindful that, sometimes we would put people against people. Come back to me, Director. Yeah, we put in things and we identifying and we showing things that we're not supposed to be really doing. But you know what? We're trying to muster support by discrimination, right? By building on discriminations. Because that is what they did when the union did it. The union did it. And now we are seeing that very sad trend. It seems as though the only way to motivate, right, support or muster support is to do it via division, right, and discrimination. And that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that in the protest action that is taking place, right? 150 something, maybe 5 months gone, all right, 5 months gone. And what is happening? What is happening, Trinidad and Tobago? You all have to stand up. You have to stand up for what is right, or you're going to fall for everything that is wrong. So we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to round up our program. But again, I'm calling on you, those of you who are locked on, those of you who told me this morning that, here, what, Imam, we're going to call on you, we're going to call the program today. Feel free to call me, 372. Don't wait till after the program and say, boy, I forget, because that is excuse that is not legitimate excuse. That is lies. If you all scared out of your birds to call and say something that you want to talk about, I mean, stop doing that. Stop calling me and saying, Imam, we calling the show today. We calling the show today. Call the show, 372-2129. And for the lady who constantly calling me, right, constantly calling me and telling me a whole set of things about this MP and that MP and the next MP, and I told you all, call today and let us clarify it, and people would hear, and if your story is correct, because one person told me up to this morning that certain office to meet any MPs, it is like going through to meet the Prime Minister of the country. I tell you something, MPs has a designated day to be in office. I think the Prime Minister is supposed to be doing that. When you see Jolene John going in the office hours should be from 8 to 4. Jolene John leaving home 4 o'clock in the morning, going in the office 6:30. Jack Warner is to be in his office 1 o'clock in the morning. For what reason? To show off? To cut a video and show off? No, they are going there because they want to serve the people. And we are seeing people are claiming this, that certain ministers, they are not going in their office and they are screening people to go in the office. Every single person in a community and a constituency, they have that opportunity, they have that right to go and meet. Nothing wrong, you call first and you set up an appointment, which is the best thing to do. But you, the persons who are in office, don't screen for the MP. Not because somebody didn't support you, right? The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa mentioned this. When UNC win, everybody win. And I don't expect the people who oppose the United National Congress to get the fat off the cow. No. What they should get, at least get some attention. Because they are talking about what? They are talking about building the nation back again. Building the nation back again. And that is what we're doing. So let's take a break, Director, and when we come back, we're going to conclude our program here on Sentinel Media Broadcasting, Hard Facts. Okay, my friends, welcome back to our program, Hard Facts, that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. Those of you who are locked on locally, regionally, internationally, those persons who are in South America, those persons who are in North America, those persons who are in India, Pakistan, and all those places, I am seeing a trend that is taking place in different parts of the world. And what is really and truly alarming is what is taking place in Nepal at this point in time, where government ministers are being beaten, brutalized, they are being, their homes are being burned down, and so many things is happening. And again, you know, that happened in China, I think. That happened in China, I think is in the 80s. I do hope and pray that that trend doesn't continue. Huh? I tell you something, let democracy prevail. If you all cannot understand these things, there are means and ways and methods that you can use without being violent, right? You can do things, you can be able to litigate, you can be able to mitigate, you can do a lot of things, right? But you see what is happening in Nepal at this point in time. You know what was really and truly devastating to me is the finance minister. You know, the finance minister was beaten, and you know something, for his life, he jumped, and he was an aged person. Sorry, we didn't I don't want to show the video, because I tell you something, I wouldn't want that for my enemy, right? And whatever they have done, whether they have embezzled funds and so forth, the government, the police, whoever, could have taken steps. But what I saw there was really and truly, I was saddened by it, and I really and truly wouldn't like that to happen in my country, Trinidad and Tobago, at no point in time, where the finance minister was beaten, was chased, was run, and the only way to escape was to jump over a wall, which is very high. I think, in my estimation, would have been about 15 feet. That person is an old person, and he had to run to the river. And you know, he fell down, and maybe he was contemplating, better I die. At that point in time, when he fell down there, remember Trinidad and Tobago, we have to be very, we have to be orderly, and we have to understand what is taking place. You understand? We can't take the law in our own hands. The police is there for that. We have to help the police, and that is the reason why we have this show, where you can call. If you have a problem with the Shawana's police station, the Konopia police station, or any police station as a matter of fact, and you have evidence that they are doing things that maybe is contrary, right? You can highlight it here, nothing wrong with that. But make sure you have evidence, because I wouldn't want to come and highlight something here and know it's false. Because I would tell you something, the police will immediately find you all, and really and truly let the brunt of the law be dealt with you. You understand? Because no fabrication on this program. Whatever I have said thus far is the truth and nothing but the truth. Right? So those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me, 3722129. Director, let us see what is going on there with the crime and criminality and the crime situation in our country. Police, Coast Guard seized 29 million in cannabis from Venezuela vessel. 29 million, that's plenty drugs, huh? Parents call for police at Arima North Secondary School after teacher fight. Normal thing again, normal thing. This is an alarming one. This is what you call actions that is horrendous. 9-year-old boy beaten, robbed of phone in Play Park. Now, I don't expect that to be a person who is a mature person. I would expect that to happen maybe a child who is 10 or 12, 13 years old. But I wouldn't expect a mature man to beat a 9-year-old child, right, a 9-year-old boy, and rob him of his phone in the Play Park. Now tell us something, that child wouldn't want to go back in the play park. Shogwana's search continues for missing Shogwana's businessman, that is Imraz Ali. He's still missing. Fired URP workers to get grant, says Minister Amin. Again, the ministry, hold your hand, Director, don't run it so fast. Fired URP workers to get grant, says Minister Amin, Khadija Amin, right? Minister in the Ministry of Local Government. Now, URP workers, they will get a grant, yes. At least they're getting something. When CPEP shut down, right? And people who supported the United National Congress, anybody who in politics would know that. Once you support the government, you support the winning government at that time, or the winning party at that time, know for a fact that you did it, and you would like to expect some remuneration. And most of the time, maybe you get a CPEP contract, or maybe you get a little job here, a little job there. That is about it, right? That is about it. So you should be lucky, those persons who were employed by the past government, to be collecting a grant from the present government, because the PNM didn't do that. I tell you that, PNM did not do that when they took office in 2015. They get rid of everybody who was UNC, anybody who was UNC based, they got rid of them and they replaced them with their supporters, well, like it or not. That is the law, that is what happened. Boy's law and Charles' law. What goes up must come down, and that's what transpired. Let us continue, Director. Continue, we dealt with that. 3 arrested in separate robbery and car theft cases. A lot of things is happening when it comes to robbery and car theft at this point in time. Government orders NIB to pay over 100 million owes to the workers. I'll leave that there. I want to discuss something. Now, very important, those of you on TikTok, NIB, that is the National Insurance Board. How many times people, they run you around like dog? You go to collect your monies that you paid for, right, to get your national insurance money, and you can't get it, right? How many times they run you around like dog, and you know something, they threaten you this, and if you have money in the bank and you have certain amount, you can't get no money, and you are paying that, hey, something is wrong. Now, hats off, right? Thank the Lord that Kamala Prasad Bissessa, the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, she's moving ahead and getting monies to pay you all. Thank the Lord, say a praise for her. Go ahead, continue, Director. Right, so Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, this is your program, Hardfacts. I'm your host, Imam Rashid Karim. We spent an hour together here today, and we are going to boost our program. As I said before, those of you who are available and you would like to be a guest on our program, you would like to be a guest on this program, whether you want to discuss something that is very, very important or just very important, feel free to call me, come and sit next to me, and we can be able to talk, we can be able to enlighten the public, because I tell you a lot of things in this program here today. The amount of things that I discuss, right? I talk about, you know what? I talk about the ID card office. I talk about the Ministry of Health. I talk about all these different aspects of crime and so many things. I didn't really dive too much in infrastructure, because I've seen a lot of work happening, patching there, but that would have been according to the finance that is available, and so many things. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, we are heading in the right direction. One thing I want to close with, though, is that I have seen the Honorable Prime Minister making statements about if anybody should invade, whether it be Venezuela, invade Guyana, she is supporting wholly and solely, fully on that part, right? Again, that is the Prime Minister of the country, and she can make statements that she wants, and she can steer that statement correctly, or again, any one of us, we can say this very sad thing, that if we are invaded, what can we do? Our Prime Minister is making some bold statements, and I do hope and pray that we do not reach that point where we'll have to send people from our country, the military from our country, or whatever, to save or to help protect from invasions and so forth. So again, let good sense prevail. We are calling on all and sundry, all those persons who are in mediation with whatever is transpiring around the South Americas at this point in time. Let us all try to let good sense prevail, because I tell you something, in a war, really and truly, there is no winners. There is no winners. Because I tell you something, you might win something today, but remember, when you gather that and you get the booty of war, somebody outside there is going to take it from you. So that victory is a temporary victory. The best thing is to stay away from that and, you know, try to enjoy what is right and forbid what is evil. And that is what really and truly will build our momentum and help us to be successful in all our endeavors. So again, my friends, those of you who have been watching our program, I thank you all wholeheartedly. I thank you all very, very much. May God Almighty bless you, your families, protect you and your families, and help us to become a better nation, Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you, and until Monday.